Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to today's Immigration Hour. I'm your host for the evening. My name is Ashu. I'm from Team Australia, Alidu. And we have with us today our favorite immigration agent, Saurabh Smar from Global Vision Migration. So, without any further ado, let's just welcome Saurabh and get on with the show. Hi, Saurabh. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for your lovely introduction, Ashu. Yeah, I'm doing really well. It's starting to get cold in Melbourne, and after a long Easter weekend, so we are back again here to answer a lot of questions, talk about Australia migration, give people any updates in regards to Australia immigration or anything that's quite relevant. Doesn't matter whether it's a student visa. If it's you have an inquiry about your education, feel free to leave a comment. We want to keep this as interactive as possible. um, to leave your comment, mention where you are, tell us about your profile, and then let's work something out for you guys. Something, because I know everyone's goal is to get permanent residency. Not everyone's goal, like some people do prefer to get permanently settled in Australia. So we will try our best to see what good possible pathways will be available to all of you. So yeah, we want to keep this as interactive as possible. It might be not helpful for yourself. The information we provide might be helpful for your friends or family. So do feel to tag them or share them this video, so that they would know exactly what we are talking about. Another thing, and then I would like to share everyone that the information provided during this live session is for education purpose only. So every individual would need to consult professionally, take professional advice before acting upon any advice. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for that, Sarah. Guys, as you all know, this is going to be a 45-minute session. So, be quick and put your questions below in the comments, and we will be more than happy to answer all of your questions. And in case if we miss any questions, we will be leaving message on that replies to your comments, and then they will get in touch with you. And you could also drop a message on their Facebook page, Global Vision Migration, or you could call them using the below numbers. So, what so what's happening, Sarah? Like every week we've started doing this ritual where we want to we want to know information about positive news, like anybody's visa got approved, or anybody got their permanent residency or citizenships from your end. Would you mind sharing those with us for this week?
Sure. So since last Wednesday that we discussed, we actually got because after last Wednesday we have Thursday, and then Friday was a public holiday, and Monday was a public holiday. Department was not working as well. No one
Yeah.
was working. So say from Thursday and till yesterday, that means only 2 days and three today, 3 days. So we have received a quite successful nomination approval and visa grants as well. So we have received a student visa grant for someone whose COE was already expired. So we actually contacted department and advised them that, look, please grant them a visa so that the person can apply for a 485 visa. And the department generously, they actually granted him a visa as well, so that the person could be able to apply for 485. So that was a positive news. Otherwise the person would have to get a new COE. That would cost them a lot of money, need to get a health insurance, etc. So that was a positive news. Another news that we had is we had a ACS as well as Engineering Australia skill assessment went through. And specifically with ACS, the person actually had over 12 years of experience from overseas, and that was a good amount of experience. And then ACS actually successfully assessed everything, but however, they can only claim last 10 years anyway when it comes to general skill migration. But they can use that
Right.
experience to apply for any visa now, employer sponsored or anything.
Yeah.
Thirdly, we had a Victoria State nomination approved for a chef this morning for a 491 visa. That nomination took less than a week to get it approved, considering the Easter holidays as well. Um, and that person, they only had 60 points of their own plus 15 from the state, so 75 points in total.
Right.
And based on those points, we were managed to get them a successful nomination from Victorian government under the workforce skills pathway. Since I'm talking about Victoria government state nomination, I just want to let everyone know 29th of April 2022 is the last date for you to apply Victoria State nomination. They're going to close very soon. So 9 more days left. If you have not applied until then, I would suggest you to take action as soon as possible so that you could certainly be able to apply for your state nomination or towards your 190 or 491 as well. So that's positive news from our end so far. Certainly, we would be back next Wednesday again with some more positive news as well. So and yeah,
So guys, all of you, those who are watching this live right now, it would be really great for us to understand how many of you are actually aiming for, say, PR or citizenship in Australia. So please make sure to comment below whether you're aiming for a PR or a citizenship, or you're just here for studying and then you want to work and then go back to your home country. Please make sure to comment down, and I'm sure we'll be surprised to see how many people want to stay here or go back.
yeah,
And
because not
yeah,
everyone yeah, sorry, I've seen like not everyone would like to stay permanently in Australia. I've spoken to quite a few people who wants to gain work experience, valuable work, global work experience from Australia, and then they might want to go to United States or even Canada to
yeah,
work there as well, gain exceptional skills, and then they will down the track they will see whether they would like to settle permanently in Australia or they want to settle permanently in US or even Canada. So yes, once you do have skills, you have knowledge, you have good international qualifications, sky is the limit, guys. So do not chase after PR would chase you. That's the phrase that we use for people for global talent visas. And then today we're also going to touch base about global talent visas as well, like what kind of visas are those, how you guys can actually be able to apply for um, those visas as well. So we will touch base on that as well, and obviously we will talk about. We will try our best to answer all of your questions. Um, if you have any doubts or anything, we will talk about those as well. So I will, and then we'll give you a bit gist of everything about global talent, what the global talent is all about, how you can actually be able to get permanent residency, and how why it is the quickest pathway. So not many people know about this as well. So with the global talent visa, Ashu, when we applied for our clients, we received the invitation. So I applied for the visa on around say 3 p.m. on Friday. Within 2 hours, the case officer gets allocated, and then the case officer requested, the medicals within the same day, and that was in early 2021. And then we got the medicals. That time there were priority was given to people like global talent people were actually given priority by Bupa to get the medicals done ASAP. And the client were able to get the medicals done, the very next Monday, and on Tuesday they got their permanent residency. So that's how
wow,
quick it is.
that was
The
really
case
quick.
officers, they actually been given directions straight by the minister that for global talent visa, distinguished talent visas, you would have to process these cases really quickly. And another thing is specifically for global talent visa, there is a um, special exemptions available for residency. So for citizenships, you know that people have to live in Australia for at least 4 years and 1 year as a permanent resident. However, that based on their global talent, if you have got your PR as a global talent, there are some exemptions available for you as well. You don't even have to wait that long to get the skill assessment done. So there you go. There's a millions of advantages, available to people who are quite talented, etc.
So, but who can apply for the global talent visa? What are the what are the requirements to apply for a global talent visa?
So when it comes to global talent visa, there is a it is also known as GTI visa as well, like Global Talent Innovation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called as well. However, there is a certain target sectors that the department wants to look for when they apply for global talent visa, and there
Yeah.
is some kind of if someone has done PhD, research work, masters in research, they can also be able to apply for global talent visa as well for 858 visa. However, there are several target sectors, so it's not that global talent you have to be special, you have to have a specific talent in IT field, etc. No, it can be in any field. It can be say mining as well. So you could be a working in a mining field, or automation, or say any resource waste management, agriculture like agri food, even health. It could be, you could be doing something special, utilizing your artificial intelligence in health industry, or pretty much I would say maybe working in a defense. There are people who are helping, who are overseas in various countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. They are doing PhD degree, they're doing research in defense. They building up the say combat systems, surveillance system, intelligence system, robotics and automation. So what they want to say is that they want people who have exceptional experience, such as, say for example, someone who's actually you know um, who's building up this kind of technology, and who's known for this, that this guy is actually known for creating this kind of exceptional machine or softwares, developing these new systems, that would be very would beneficial to Australian economy. And obviously
Right.
digital, cloud computing, there is AI, machine learning, and there is a Internet of Things. These things are very popular nowadays as well. So
Yeah.
if someone is actually have developed a startup, or someone has started a startup as well in India, and it's actually
Mhm.
really good, and it's got very exceptional technology that's been associated with that. Those people are also can be eligible to apply under global talent visa as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
um, so this is just an example of global talent visa. However, those candidates also have the, they would also have to show the ability that if they were have to come to Australia and work, or if they're already in Australia, they have the capacity to attract a salary of at least 158,500. That's a fair work high, the fair work high income threshold. So 158,500, and they can show it with a job offer as well. That's totally fine. And then, and even they can show if they're currently working, they can show their pay slips, etc. So yes, there are a lot of ways there you can show this salary as well. And then if you do manage to get that, certainly sky's the limit. And then the thing is, global talent visa is completely different than other visas, and the way it's done as well, it's not done through the normal skill select pathway that a lot of people do it. However, other people, so say for example, when you do apply for global talent, sometimes we do get connected to the directors or different teams of global talent, and then we can tell them that, look, we have a candidate, he's got this kind of profile, and if they like their profile, then they said, okay, sure, this is your invitation, go ahead and apply for the visa. So it sometimes, it's really quick, sometimes it does take time as well. So I hope
Yeah.
we have clarified global talent visa. A lot of people did ask us last time, and previous sessions, that want us to give a bit of idea about what the global talent is all about. Sometimes
Yeah.
a lot of our clients, I've seen few of our clients who are actually working in the field in IT, or other, in one is working as a project engineer with a very
Mhm.
big company, and he wasn't even aware of this option. And when I told him that, look, you could be eligible for this, and he said like, yeah, let's do it, and we did apply for it, and 2 weeks later he got the invitation. So that was, a really quick turnaround, and that person wouldn't have any clue. And the global talent has an age limit of up to 50 55. So that means that people can still apply.
Yeah. That's great. Also, before we get into the questions, I just want to ask you about COVID visa again, because a lot of our followers have been asking questions about COVID visa 408. So the first question is, can they apply for bridging visa B and travel overseas when they are in bridging for COVID visa, which is 408?
Okay, so so this question has been asked a lot of times when it comes to COVID visa, 408 visa.
Yes.
So what happened is department has actually removed the word COVID from this, specifically for people who are applying for this visa after 21st of Feb 2022. So they have actually introduced three different pathways for people. Number one would
Mm-hmm.
be what they're saying is that if you were actually in Australia before 21st of Feb 2022, and if you're
Yes.
working or you got a job offer, you can
Mm.
certainly apply for 408 visa based on your, if you're working in a critical sector, you can get for 1 year, otherwise you will get it for 6 months.
Right.
Secondly, what they are saying is that if you arrived in Australia after, on or after 21st of Feb 2022, and if you have work rights on your visa, and then also you can be able to apply for a COVID visa as well. Doesn't matter which visa you came in.
Right.
Thirdly, even the visitor visa holders who do not have work rights on their visitor visa, but if they manage to get a job offer from a Commonwealth funded aged care service, they actually can get a COVID visa as well, 408 visa, subclass 408. So yes, there are multiple options available when it comes to subclass 408 visa, and then people can be able to apply for that under that pathway. When it comes
So
to
what?
getting a bridging visa B to travel overseas, previously when people were applying for COVID 408 visa under COVID circumstances, they were clearly saying that we were not able to leave Australia due to
Yes.
the travel restrictions. And then if they do choose to leave overseas and get a bridging visa B, on that scenario the department would actually stop processing their 408 visa. However, in some circumstances we have seen people who were managed to get a bridging visa B and have traveled overseas and come back without any trouble. However, there is more information still required from the department in regards to whether it is people who are applying for 408 visa after 21st of Feb can get a bridging visa B to travel overseas or not, because now they are not applying based on the fact that they cannot travel overseas due to the COVID. Now they
Yeah.
get the 408 visa based on the fact that they are actually working in their field, or I mean working in Australia to help with the Australia's economy recovery, or they're
Right.
working in a critical sector in Australia. So
Right.
yes, in some circumstances people can. However, there is no right and wrong answer in this scenario. We have to assess every situation individually. There is not one key that fits all the locks.
That's true. Okay. So also Saurabh, if somebody has to apply for a 408 visa, how many months or weeks prior to their visa expiry should they apply it?
Oh yeah, so they can apply within 90 days of their visa expiry as well. Previously, that was only available for people who had who working in critical sector. However, that was changed recently. People can also apply for 408 visa after their visa expired as well. So they get a 28 days of period. During that, they would have to apply for their 408 visa in order for them to be eligible to get a be lawful back in Australia, and then they will be granting a bridging visa C. If they are employed, they would certainly will get bridging visa C with work rights as well.
Right. So so there is no other option for people. Is 408 visa the only option for people who are finishing off their 485s and then are looking still to stay in Australia and are working in some or the other company?
No, there are plenty of other options as well. People can apply for it once if your 485 is about to expire, and say if you do have enough work experience from overseas, etc., and if you're already working with your employer, why don't you talk to your employer, look for employer sponsor options such as subclass 482, or maybe direct permanent residency options such as 186. As you also know that as well, if you are not actually eligible for those, certainly you can apply for a student visa. You can maybe try to upskill yourself. Some people have studied a course that wasn't relevant enough to get them permanent as in any occupation in a skill assessment, or maybe any skill assessment in an occupation. However, if they do tend to take up a course, maybe upskill themselves. Maybe sometimes, a lot of people, what I've seen is if people are not eligible to apply for permanent residency in Australia, if you do study some course which is quite important in any other countries, the other countries such as Canada opens the doors for you then. So you do have opportunity to even go there as well using Australian qualification. I have seen people who actually managed to get PR for Canada while they were actually on a student visa in Australia, based on their bachelor's or master's studies that they did. They prepare for the IELTS, etc., and then they apply for the other countries as well. So there you go. Once you do study in Australia, sky's the limit. You certainly, if you are skilled enough, as I was talking about global talent visa, if you are skilled enough for global talent, Australia is actually looking for those talent. They have teams all around Australia, all around the world, looking for this specific talented people. So if you are, and those people, how they get those talent is they are by upskilling themselves.
Right.
So even a lot of my clients, who ask me, like, sort of give us an idea, how do we get a job, how do we break into IT sector, etc. So I always tell them, if you want to sell yourself, make sure your resume and your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Look for a profile of someone in LinkedIn that you want to work as, and then see the kind of certifications they have, see the kind of endorsements they get from their colleagues, see the kind of profile they have built up, what kind of education they had. So that's how I would suggest, you can build yourself as well. Get those IT certifications. A lot of people nowadays do the AWS, etc. Those ones are in high demand as well. You certainly, if you do have enough qualification, certification, and experience, then you would get a right call on a right day.
Right. So also, there are people asking us if what is there any student course, like any master's course or a diploma or PhD or any course that lets them work full time while studying, apart from the
Okay,
rule that's lifted right now. If they have
perfect.
to go into visa, is there any way that they could have full working rights?
Perfect. That's actually a very good question. A lot of people don't know that yes, within a student visa as well, you can get full working rights while you are studying as well. So say for example, a lot of people don't know, if you're studying masters just by coursework, your secondary applicant, your husband or your wife, can get full working rights as well. Secondly, if you study masters in research, then you yourself can get full working rights plus your partner as well. And if you're studying PhD, then you can get full working rights as well as your partner. And a lot of time in PhD, you get stipends as well, based on your research work and how exceptionally, um, you know, if you were able to manage to get a scholarship as well, etc. So yes, even with the student visas as well, people do manage to get full working rights plus scholarships too. We have clients, who, once they 485 finished, they wanted to pursue masters in research, and then they were actually managed to get admission in a regional, in Adelaide.
Yeah.
So how does that going to help them is, once they study 2 years of masters, they will be able to get extra 10 points for their STEM qualification. Then they will
Right.
get extra 5 points for their regional studies. So as you can see,
Yeah.
straight up 15 extra points, by just doing something that everyone would have done, just taking up a course and studying like that. However, there is some one university available in New South Wales, which is quite easy to get into in Masters of Research. They do not require you to have a, what's it called, the thesis and all that stuff too much. They don't require you to do too much of hard bowling at the start to get admission. However, you can easily get admission in New South Wales. I will need to check exactly the name. It's not. I don't remember the top of my head. But they do offer masters in research, and then people certainly be able to get admission in that as well.
What about Victoria? Any universities that you would suggest for Victoria to get into Masters by Research?
Victoria, yes, Federation University is a good university. VU is also quite good as well when it comes to this. Deakin has a very good research portfolio, specifically in terms of IT people. I've seen Deakin got very good professors, lecturers for artificial intelligence, etc. Couple of our clients from Deakin University were actually managed to get global talent visa. They recently finished their PhD, and then we managed to get them a GTI visa as well for that one. So I would suggest, if you are into in this kind of field or pathway, you should look into those options as well.
That's great. That's nice to hear. So, Saurabh, we have quite a few questions. Let's just get quickly into those and then go back to discussing more on the updates part.
Perfect.
So, first up, we have Abhishek. He's asking, I'm on 485 visa and it expires in September. I'm in India right now and getting married. I have a question. How do I bring my partner to Australia? Can you please suggest something?
Okay. So a lot of people do have this question as well, that they are on a TR and they're getting married back in India, and then they want to invite their partners. So a lot of people are asking us, contacting us every day, asking like how they can bring their partner. They want to bring them on a visitor visa. So when it comes to visitor visa, everyone needs to understand that people need to satisfy GT requirement, which is genuine temporary entrant, that they only want to come here for a short period of time. So people say that yes, she will come for a short period of time and she will go back, but that's not the not what department is asking for. What they want to know is she need to, or that person needs to demonstrate evidence that the incentives for them to go back to their home country is way higher than the incentives for them to stay in Australia. And there are many ways you need to prove that. You know what I mean? Say for example, you would need to show that the person has a long-term employment, if that's can be done. If person is actually have financial or liquid assets, if they have close family members back in there. So there is many ways to prove that GT requirements, and if you do satisfy the requirement, then certainly visitor visa, you will be able to get that visitor visa for your partner. And once your partner is here in Australia, then certainly they can look for, they have multiple options available to them as well. So yes, and since you are on a 485 visa, 485 subsequent entrant could also be another option. If once you do get married, you can bring your partner on a 485 subsequent entrant. And 485 subsequent entrant does not have any GT requirement. So that means it will be quite easy to get that visa as well. However, subsequent entrant is taking a bit longer than usual, and it can take up to 6 months or more in order for the department to process that application.
Right. So Abhishek, thank you for commenting today. We hope we've answered your question. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to reach Saurabh through their Facebook page or through one of the numbers below. Thanks. Next up, we have Sakit. He says me, hi Saurabh, may I know how many rounds are left for Victoria 190?
Victoria has not actually advised how many like rounds they're going to do. They do random rounds as well. Normally they do rounds on Friday, but they do also round on a Monday or even Wednesday as well. However, we haven't. They are actually very unpredictable. They could do rounds first thing tomorrow morning on Thursday as well, or they could do on Friday or maybe next Friday. So until is 29th, certainly we are hoping to get more outcomes from the department. However, they might invite people after that as well, depending upon how much seats are available to them. If they do have, but they won't be accepting any more applications after 29th. So that's very important for a lot of people who are willing to apply or who have applied, waiting. So you need to understand 29th of April is the last date for you to apply if you haven't applied one yet.
So all the very best, Sakit. Thank you for commenting today. Next up, we have Anil. He's asking, hi, I've completed Masters in Public Health. May I know what are the PR pathways for my course?
Um, so when it comes to the PR pathway for um, say for example public health, there are multiple options available as well. such as a say for example, um, primary health organization manager. Their occupation is actually done a skill assessment from vertices. It's an MLT SSL list occupation as well. And then you need a 1 year of post qualification experience in that field. There is a so there's so when someone do masters in public health, they normally have a bachelor's qualification as well. Either bachelor's in they do dentistry, bachelor's in medicine, bachelor's in pharmacy, or something science related qualification. They can use those qualifications to get assessment as well. However, there is no direct pathway without work experience under masters in public health. So I hope this answers your question, Anil.
All the very best, Anil. Thank you so much for commenting today. Next up, we have Mohan. He's asking, hi, I'd like to travel to India on 26th of April. I'm in student bridging. If I apply bridging B tomorrow, will I be able to get bridging B within 2 days?
Um, I'm in a student bridging. If I able to bridging with tomorrow, there is no 100% guarantee that you will get it on within 2 days. Department always advise people to apply for bridging visa B at least in 4 weeks in advance. So if you are applying within 2 days and if you have a flight on 26th, there is no way they will prioritize it. However, the department do prioritize in some circumstances when there is a compelling and compassionate reasons for travel. If you do have those travel reasons, certainly you can request them for a priority processing.
Hope Saurav has answered your question, Mohan. We hope you get your bridging visa B soon. Next up, we have Saroj. He's asking, hi, Saurabh, if one travel interstate before 2 years of commitment on 190, does it affect citizenship pathway? Does movement interstate on 190 affect partner visa 309 processing or outcome? So these are the two questions by
Um,
Saroj.
sure. So it doesn't affect citizenship pathway. Citizenship requirements are completely different. And So that won't have any impact on your, because once you're a permanent resident, citizenship requirements are completely different. If you do satisfy those requirements of becoming a citizen, then that's fine. No issues at all. um, States sometimes are quite tricky. They might object you, why you are moving, etc. But I haven't seen in my experience, states pushing you to be stay with them, etc. For 190, because once you're a permanent resident, as a permanent resident of Australia, you have the right to go anywhere in Australia, work anywhere in any part of country. So there you go. But you have moral obligation towards state, because you have signed the statutory declaration. You have declared that I will be staying with you for the next 2 years, etc. So there you go. You have moral obligation, but you don't have any other. So it's up to you. So you choose very wisely. In terms of 309 processing, that won't have any impact, because 309 or a partner visa, 820 partner visa, for that a person needs an Australian sponsor. An Australian sponsor can be a Australian permanent resident, Australian citizen, or an eligible New Zealand citizen. And Australian permanent resident subclass 190 makes you permanent resident. That means that you can certainly be able to sponsor your partner. So that's completely fine. There is no issues with that at all.
Saroj, hope Saurav has answered your questions. Thank you so much for commenting today. Next up, we have Satya. He's asking, hi, I have a visa extension refusal for student in 2018 and lodged in for an MRT and stayed till 2021 and left Australia in Jan 2021. Now my partner is on 485 temporary visa till 2025. I need some suggestions and some advice on dependent visa. Any chances of refusal related to my past visa refusal?
Okay, so when it comes to say for example 485 visa, so there's a lot of background questions in place as well for under this question itself, where we need to know exactly what was the reasons for those visa refusal in 2018, what were the underlying reasons. So until unless we know exactly those reasons, Satya, I'm not able to answer this question, because there could be different reasons why it was actually refused. And was there a PIC criteria? Was there a bogus document provided? So there's a lot of things that we need to know in order for us to answer this question. I would suggest you is to send us a private message. We would be putting our details later, So you can send us a private message on our Facebook page, and then our team will actually get in touch with you, and we can answer your inquiry in a professional way. I hope this clears your bit of doubt, etc. Because we need more information in order for us to answer this. There is no straight up answer for that.
So Satya, as Saurabh has already mentioned, it's a very case sensitive issue, and then he needs to exactly understand your scenario before answering it. So please do get in touch directly with Saurabh's team. Thank you so much for commenting today. Next up, we have 𝗠𝗶𝗴𝗿𝗁𝐁𝗲. He's asking, hi, applied EOI 491 with 95 points and 190 with 85 points on Jan 24th, 2022, working as a business analyst. When can I expect the invite? Please,
Queensland 491 as a business analyst. We recently received a 491 for a civil engineer. The person only had 85 points of their own. However, you're sitting at a very good points, 95 points. But as long as you do meet the requirements of them, 3 months regional or 6 months anywhere in Queensland, and if you manage to get a job offer, etc., you certainly be able to apply for. You might be able to get the invitation quicker. However, Surya, what I have seen is Queensland government is taking way longer than usual in order to invite people. I would suggest you is that you might be able to get invitation soon, but there is no 100% guarantee in that either, because Queensland hasn't published any data like how many people they have invited at what points, how many more places are available to them, etc. So we would just have to I would have to ask you to just wait, and if you do meet requirements for other visas such as employer sponsored, etc., I would suggest you to look for different options as well.
So Surya, hope we've answered your question tonight. Thank you so much for commenting. Next up, we have Trixie. She's asking, hi, is it possible to get PR after 3 years on 482 as childcare worker?
So what Trixie is trying to ask is whether the childcare worker occupation is actually eligible for 186 temporary residence transition stream. As you know, Trixie, currently 186 RTS is only available for MLTSSL list occupation. However, from 1st of July, there has been a recent changes where occupation on STSOL occupation list as well can be eligible in some circumstances if they do meet certain requirements to be eligible to apply for 482 visa when they do finish 3 years on a 482 visa. However, childcare worker is not a STSOL occupation. It's not even an occupation on any of the three lists. This is an occupation which is either done through a labor agreement or through DAMA. So I would suggest you is if you do looking to seek a permanent residency options, you will need to look into labor agreement under this pathway.
So hope we've answered your question tonight, Trixie. Thank you so much for commenting today. Next up, we have Shilpa. She's asking, hi, could you let me know whether South Australia is open for 491?
South Australia, they actually closed. I'm pretty sure they actually closed. They did send an email out last time. I just quickly check that for you if you want, because I remember they do send out an email recently advising that they have actually closed for this financial year as well. Yes, so they already closed. Sorry, yes, 100%. They have closed for 2021-2022 financial year. They have already they said they close to meeting their quota, and that email was sent to us in on 16th of March. I'm pretty sure they won't have any more slots spaces left at all. So yeah, apparently they are closed. So we have to wait until after 1st of July.
Hope that answers your question, Shilpa. Thank you so much for commenting today, and all the very best. Next up, we have Brijesh. So he's asking, hi, what about Victoria ROI selection? Is it finished or they're continuing? Thank you.
Brijesh, yes, ROI is still being currently being selected as well. Nominations are still being approved as well. If you haven't lodged your application, I would suggest you lodge your application as soon as possible.
Hope that answers your question, Brijesh. Thank you so much for commenting today. Next, we have Manoj. Hi, Saurabh. I understand MTSOL visa allows you to stay in Australia for 4 years. In case of extension, can we apply for another 2 years or 4 years? The other question is, can 186 visa be applied separately by individual and not through an employer?
Okay, so if you what he's trying to say is if your occupation is in the medium to long term occupation list, medium stream. If you're applying under 482 under medium stream, yes, you can apply for as many times as possible. There is no limit for that. The second question is about if you can apply for 186 as an individual. 186 is it's also known as employer nomination scheme. That means that employer would like to nominate you to work for them in an MLTSSL occupation if you're applying under 186 direct entry. However, you cannot apply that without an employer. So unfortunately, you cannot apply that without an employer. You would need to have an employer in order for you to who can nominate you for 186 visa.
Hope that answers your question, Manoj. Thank you so much for commenting today. Next up, we have Naresh. It's asking, hi, can we expect invites for engineers and IT occupations in this financial year as no invites are seen so far?
Um, I'm not too sure. We have received quite a lot of invitations for engineers and IT people, Naresh. I don't know which one you're talking about. If you're talking about 189 visa, yes, certainly there has not been any invitation so far for 189. However, the last round that where engineers and chefs were invited for 491 was actually last July. So hopefully, you should be able to get some outcome very soon.
So he's talking about NSW 190.
INSW 190. Okay. Yes, for 190, we have seen that there have not been much invitations for engineers and IT occupations so far. That's correct. We have, some clients who are actually working with their employers, looking to, and then, they are also waiting for invitation at 100 points. Some of them are 105 points for 190, and they're meeting all the boxes. They got 3 years of work experience, deemed skill experience and everything, experience all been assessed and everything. So now only thing is just an invitation so that you can apply for the state nomination. So we still have time. 30th of June is still not here yet, and as you know, New South Wales last year they were actually inviting people up until 24th of June. So I would say just hold on to it, and you certainly be able to get the invitation if you are after.
So all the very best, Naresh. Thank you so much for commenting today. Next, we have a question from Anoop. He's asking, hi, is Victoria EUI still open?
Yes, it is still open, Anup. 29th of April is the last date. If you haven't lodged your ROI, this is you still have 9 days. I hope the luck be on your side, and you should be able to get a invitation soon.
All the very best, Anup. Thank you so much for commenting tonight. Next, we have Deshmant Reddy. He's asking, hi, I have a 1.9 years of experience after skill assessment in India. And if I do 1.3 years, then will I get both offshore points and onshore 5 points? I'm currently working in Sydney.
So you get 3 years. 3 years. If you have 3 years of overseas experience outside Australia, you get 5 points for that. And if you have 1 year of work experience in Australia, you get 5 points for that. So there you go. If you do have those work experience, you certainly be able to get points. But however, you cannot combine them. You can't combine offshore and onshore. You can combine them for your 186 direct entry, employer sponsored employer nomination scheme. There you go. So you can use that experience for that one.
Hope that answers your question, Deshman. Thank you so much for commenting today. So next and last question for tonight is from Sunil Kumarsha. He's saying, hi, after getting the invitation for NSW 491, candidate will be ineligible for 190. What about 189 visa?
189, yes, you certainly can get invitation. If you get invitation for 189, you can obviously can apply for 189. But if you got 491 granted, if you hold 491 visa, then you certainly cannot apply for 189. So there you go. I hope this clarifies your question.
Thank you so much for commenting, Sunil. Last question for tonight, guys. It's from Vandana. She's asking, architect with 90 points for NSW for 190 visa, chances for invitation.
Architect, 90 points is actually really good for 190. I would suggest people, what we have done for people who have architects as well. sometimes getting them a skill assessment in different occupation, such as a construction project manager, that might help, because that is also an MLT SSL list occupation. People and then might be able to get 189, even 190 as well, faster than an architect. So there you go, there could be some options. And yes, New South Wales hasn't finished their quota yet, and they might be able to invite architects soon, or engineers, or IT occupations. Well, the time will tell. And Vandana, if you do get the invitation, make sure you do let us know in the next our webinar, so that we know that yes, we're quite happy that we were managed to give you some good information, and you can share some happy news with us too. And also, viewers, you feel free to share happy news. If you do get an invitation, if you get your permanent residency granted, get your 491 invitation, etc., make sure you do let us know as well. And because the more happy news we share with each other, the more happiness we spread, the better it is for everyone.
Yeah, guys, spread positivity, please. So finally, we are in the end of the session, and I'd like to again tell you all that for all of Australia Aludu's followers, Global Vision Migration is offering 25% discount for the migration consultation fee by using a coupon code that is AUSALLUDU, AUSALLUDU. You can apply this coupon code and book for a session, migration consultation session with Saurabh, and you would certainly get 25% discount. Feel free to use it, guys, and get appointments, and all the very best for your PR pathways. Do you have anything to add, Saurabh?
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. It was lovely meeting you all, answering all your questions. So, as you know, financial year is going to end soon. Most of the states will going to close their state nomination. This is actually the time which I tell people to prepare for the new financial year, so that you don't actually have to waste another financial year at all. A lot of
Yeah.
our people, who have got your 3 years of TR, do not think that you have got 3 years of TR. You have plenty of time. Think of this in such a way that you don't have 3 years, you only have 3 months, and then you would do anything possible to be able to get your permanent residency, the 491 or 190. I would rather have you guys spend 3 years on a 491 rather than on a 485 visa. At least after 3 years, you would be eligible to apply for 191. Whatever money you make, it goes in your own pocket. It's your savings. You can buy a house, whatever you want to do, save up, start a family, get yourself a Medicare card once you're on a 491 visa at least. So, guys, think of something like that. Do not just focus on, right now, just working and earning really quick money. Focus on your career. That's my important, that's I want to give advice to everyone. And thank you for joining us, and I hope you guys have a very lovely week.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week, same time, Wednesday, again with another immigration hour with more info on what to do for getting PRs or 491. Thank you so much for today. Have a lovely week. See you. Bye bye.